So here is the engine compartment. You can see the rails, they are all blue. The red you see underneath that is the original primer when the car was painted, when it was new. So a lot of these cars, when you see red, looks like a red oxide, or I guess that's more of an American term. You can see that in the rails. That's actually original primer that Jaguar used. So you can see it, especially where the original chassis number is there. So that's really good to see on a car like this. In fact, I'd rather see this than everything painted very nice and pretty, because I can tell the car and how it lived its life. And there's no rust in any of these rails. Original radiator. Of course, Series 2s had the 2 fans for better cooling, and I've taken this car out on pretty hot North Carolina days, and it stays, as I say on several of my cars, it stays between the A and the L in normal. Does not overheat, runs excellent. Did 2 Stromberg carburetors with the side air filters, which was available in 1970 and on, and then this did have the emissions crossover, but somebody actually replaced it with, put headers on this car at some time during its life. Underneath the bonnet is in excellent shape. We'll come back to the headers in a minute. Some rust there. There is some rust on the floors. I don't think it needs to be replaced. It's just there's some rust underneath the car. Here is the driver's side. This does have power steering. Here's a power steering reservoir. It does have air conditioning. There's a compressor. Here are the headers. Somebody replaced them, which there would be an emissions crossover going over here, and heat would be transferred. So that was replaced at one time. There's more evidence of the original primer on the frame rails. Brakes were redone. Complete brake system was redone. It does stop and drive excellent, and the power steering feels very nice for driving around town. There is original engine number, which I also have on display in the gallery of pictures. It looks like somebody replaced the heater control valve here, and the heater motor does work. There's the alternator. The alternator was placed in the front of the car on air-conditioned cars on the Series 2s, and this big compressor was the air conditioner, which I would suggest to replace with a classic auto air if somebody really could not live without air conditioning on this car. Finding parts for this air conditioning system might be a futile effort, as they really don't work that great to begin with, and the classic auto air is a much, much superior system. Here's the original data plate. Original data plates, they do not look great if they're original. A lot of people replace them. You can usually tell by the font. This one was not replaced. It's original. And there we go. And anybody has any questions, they can contact me. They can go to my website at motorcartrader.com. My name is Mark. My email is marc, at motorcartrader.com. I do spell it with a C, not a Q-U-E, well, not with a K. But anybody has any questions, feel free to give me a call. Be happy to do a walk around. Here is the passenger side as well. Take a look. Very nice and clean. Again, this is not a restored car. This is a true, mostly original car, low mileage original car. Not a car that was kept in the bubble, as these cars were used. Nobody really put them in a bubble and said, let's see what the Jaguar's worth in 50 years. These cars were functional and driven, used cars. So in any case, my name is Mark, again, with motorcartrader.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me or send me an email. Be happy to talk to you further about this car. And there will also be about 80 pictures of this car, 80 to 100 pictures of the car on my website at motorcartrader.com. I think I've said my website enough, and signing off until next time.